What up, podcast world? This your dude, Walt Lee Dundilla, the Popper, Mr. Activelli. Pull up on me, 1809 Vine, 8600 Ward Parkway, or yes, I'm KC.com.
KC is my home. Most scratched in the rest, where your bag at? Posted in the store, moving t-shirts and dad hats. Buy 3, get 1 free, you can have that. Niggas get planet, quintals being lavish.
What's good? This is Jazz from 64111 Studio. Make sure you holler at me for all your mixing, mastering, and recording needs. For booking, please visit www.64111studio.com.
Good evening to all of my brothers, all of my sisters, to any and everyone tuning in and trying to navigate this thing called life. Whether you've been following this healing movement from the jump or you're brand new to the family and tapping in for the first time, welcome, welcome. You are absolutely welcome. This is the Blacked Out Couch Podcast, but we like to think of it as more of a safe space for decompressing instead of your typical pod. And the purpose of this show is to encourage and promote mental health awareness in our communities. For decades, the mere idea of addressing trauma and healing has always been taboo in the Black culture. We're hoping to change that narrative, one day at a time, one conversation at a time. Now keep in mind, although we do believe wholeheartedly that the keys to an intentional healing journey include support groups such as these, as well as a variety of other ways to cope, in no way, shape, or form is this show intended to be a replacement or substitute for professional treatment for your mental health needs. What we want to do is encourage, uplift, and provide our audience with the tools and resources that have helped some of us maneuver in our day-to-day routines. While some of our panelists do have experience and specialize in the mental health industry, we're all everyday people trying to get by, just like you. So always remember, no matter what you may be going through, you are not alone. Again, welcome everyone. It's gonna take plenty of courage to see this thing through, but I got faith in us, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we heal.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the couch for episode 10 with the sisters. Episode 9, the brothers came onto the couch and told us not to judge their vices. We appreciate them. It was a great conversation. If you didn't listen to it, you know what to do. Go to YouTube, go to Spotify, go to your favorite podcast app and tune in. Be sure to follow us on YouTube. But on tonight, the sisters are here. We are going to be talking about virtues and what makes a virtuous woman, what makes a trophy woman, what makes a token woman, how do stigmas drive our mental health, and how do we just kind of live past all of that. So I'm ready to get into it. The sisters are waiting on us. So let's get into our greetings and good things. Tonight we have Sister Shonda. Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, okay. So when we were prepping for this episode, she came on to the backstage and was glowing. I kid y'all not. I'm like, look, she's showing me up. I need to get some different attire. I'm trying to promote the I Hope We Heal slogan. And she just done came on her and outshine me. So I know you got some good things to share. Give us your greetings and good things, Miss Shonda.
Well, I'm just happy to be here. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I'm just remaining faithful and keeping it moving. Can't stay stuck. So, I appreciate the compliment, and you're gonna have me bright red on here, so.
Show all the emotions. That's why we on the couch. Show them all. I can't turn bright red, so I appreciate the dynamics that you can show through your whole body. I'm saying, do it for us all. We also got Sister Devin Elise on tonight. Miss Arthur Devin. Greetings and good things.
Howdy. So of course my good things is this book, Sit in Your Shit, is doing phenomenal on sales. It is still available. We are now available for sale not only on Angela Marie Publishing, but also Amazon's platform. The publishers are doing a phenomenal job of just helping get the book recognition on multiple platforms. So we will continue letting you guys know where you can buy it. But right now, Amazon and Angela Marie Publishing, go out, buy the journal, buy 2, buy 3, buy 5. Share them with your family and friends. I'm just on a high right now from the feedback, the healing experiences. I had one lady was like, I opened it up and the second page I was crying. And I'm just like, oh, wow. So I'm excited for what it's done for me. And I'm excited for what it's going to do for you guys. So make sure you grab that. And I'm just happy to be on the couch again with my sister. So, hey, y'all.
Hey.
I feel like it's been forever.
Yes, it really does.
It does.
Really does. Time has just been flying by. And real quick, I want to piggyback off of your greetings and good things, because first of all, if you don't follow Miss Devin Elise on social media, please do so, because her feed was flooding with pictures of people who bought the journal. And it was like, I got mine. I was like, oh, shoot. This about to be a movement. I'm here for it. I need to take a picture with mine because I do have mine.
Yeah, I need yours.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be in it though. Like, I don't want it to just be about
like
it. If that's okay. I'm gonna try and get my glow like I Shonda glowing, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see if I can get it.
You just need one of these lights I got.
All right, I hope producer taking notes. Yes, show it up. But what I was gonna say was I read on social media someone was saying, I love how raw and authentic you were. I saw someone post that and they were like, that made me grab it. And I'm like, oh yes. So I don't know if she was responding to that because of the video clip that you shared with the world at the book release that you had in Kansas City where you did the reading. I was like, go ahead. So I don't know if she had saw that or if she had read it from someone else, but that feedback alone did it for me, because we don't want none of the fluff. We need to get into the real nitty gritty. That's what we need out here in these streets. People are hurting and going through that stuff.
Yep.
And the only way to get others to be vulnerable is to be vulnerable yourself. Yep. So I will be the sacrifice. God told me to. I will be obedient to that calling. And it's actually been more rewarding than I expected.
It's actually healing. It's healing to talk about and help other people heal.
I hope we heal. Sister, you didn't do your greetings and good things. So Miss Princess, how are you?
Right. Well, thank you. You know what? This is going to sound so cliche, but I am so much better now that I'm here on the couch with the sisters. It has been a week. It has really been a week, and not even with bad stuff, but just like thing after thing after thing after thing. And then I'm run down, passed out on the couch. That's been my kind of week. So, now that we're here and we're recording, with the sisters, it gave me life. So that's my good thing, is that like I feel refreshed. I had a very productive week. I overcame some things that were sources of anxiety. So I'm proud of myself for it. But baby, it took a lot of energy.
That's good. I mean, people don't realize that too. When you dealing with that type of stuff, it takes a physical toll on you. You have to rest. You have to.
Yes.
I think one of the things that somebody told me is listening to our podcast, they've been able to identify what they're going through because we give it a name. Wow. You know how like Princess just said, like I've been dealing with my anxiety. Like people don't hear those terms on a daily basis. So to be able to say, oh my God, my chest was tight, I was having a panic attack. Now somebody else can be like, I did that. That's what that was. Let me look into it. And regardless of if they admit it or not, they're Googling terms. Like I promise LaShonda be on here dropping words and I'll be over here like, what was that?
That's so
was
true.
that? But it is a blessing to know that, this podcast has created a platform for us to truly heal. Like people, we say it and we mean it, but we also kind of make it a little joke, like, I hope we heal. But seriously, people are healing because of us. People are healing because of this platform from the sisters and the brothers. And I've been seeing people ask to be on it. So I'm like, we about to be done with this season, but come on to season 2. Like, okay.
Yes. And matter of fact, on that note, we will have openings for season 2. We
My
are
auditions,
gonna have.
I gotta come with it.
Y'all will have to
I'm
come
just
with
kidding.
it.
Don't listen to me.
You will have to come with it. We do have some criteria. I mean, it's some high standards. It's some high standards. Seriously, we have some amazing people on this podcast. Almost everybody on the podcast is an entrepreneur. Well, I speak for the sisters. Every sister on the podcast, every woman that has ever spoken on this platform is an entrepreneur. And so,
Black girls rock.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
That's worth clapping about, because we doing it.
And so definitely want to encourage every woman out there. Like, your vision can be one of the scariest things. Let's talk about growth, though. Growth is scary.
Absolutely.
Seriously, there's grieving that occurs with growth. So I was meeting with my career coach this week, and he was asking me, how am I doing? What do I feel like I'm at in terms of my career in life? I said, I feel like I'm in transition. Like, I feel like I'm no longer this young woman trying to like figure out what her thing is or what her talents are. Like, I'm pretty well aware now what my talents are, what I'm good at, but it's scary because now I have to step into this space of being responsible for how I use those talents, right? For trying to figure out what values are going to drive me with the platforms that I choose to share my energy with the impact that I have on other people. And it's like, whoa, that's heavy. Don't nobody teach you how to carry all of that weight, right? And you have all of these other influences in the world where, oh, girl, treat yourself to shopping and treat yourself by going out here and thotting. And, there's all these different just themes and influences out there. And how do I find the right one for me?
There's so many free ways to treat yourself. Trust me, I know.
Yeah,
it's
fun.
Oh, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say the brothers talked about that on their episode. What's the difference between advice and self-care? Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Absolutely. What were you gonna say, Devin?
I was just going to say, not trying to push the show, but us being able to carry those different qualities is what makes us virtuous versus trophy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
We can possess certain qualities that dictate how we're received in our marriages when we get married or when we're positioning ourselves to be a wife. Like, what qualities are we carrying that will identify if we're going to be a virtuous wife or token wife or trophy wife? So y'all don't even realize it, but I'm just sitting back listening. I'm like, y'all listed everything we about to be talking about anyway. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Let's do it. Actually, let's go ahead. Let's get into stigmas and values, because you talked about the different qualities, and I feel like every single quality, no matter which one we would name, if we were to name some, and I do want to name some, but I feel like there's either a stigma associated with it, or there's some sort of value associated with it. And honestly, stigmas don't have to be bad per se. I feel like we always use that word as if it's bad. So let's just keep it to being the negative word and that being the positive word. So, like, what are some qualities, I guess, that you have seen coming out in your marriage or past marriages? If you want to talk about that, I don't know. I feel like I want you to, but what are some qualities that you feel like you had that were stigmas instead of necessarily your own values?
I believe what I've learned is my hustle mentality, like my go-getter energy, my ability to sometimes be the breadwinner. It can be looked at as a stigma versus a value. With the right man, it can be a value. With the wrong man, it could be a stigma. I think it's real hard as a woman to be in a role of breadwinner, but still align with the submission of a woman and what that's supposed to look like, and abusing that word, even abusing that word. So me personally, like I said, I've always been a hustler, like not a street hustler, but I'm always having my hands in something. I really believe that God created me to be a visionary. I'm always thinking of a new idea, a new concept, a new event, a new way to get money, a new way to help somebody. And to certain men, that is and has been very intimidating. It's like they want to hush me and muzzle me and make me small. And it's like, no, baby, I'm a giant. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and God knew what he was doing when he created me. And I needed to make sure that I found the man that wasn't intimidated by my boldness, that wasn't intimidated by the light that I shine. And being able to walk in that boldness with a man that is just as confident makes the difference between virtuous and trophy or token. So that's just my 2 cents.
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay. You said a whole word.
Okay. What you got for us? What qualities do you feel like you possessed that were viewed as stigmas but values to you? And it don't even have to be just in a relationship setting, just, you know, any sort of engagement that you've had with people.
I think my biggest one is my androgynous nature. Like, so.
Look, because I'm like, is Devin over there Googling? Because I'm like, Google, now you know you're going to have to.
Heads to Google, heads to Google.
What I mean is, ever since I was a kid, I've always had both male and female type of interest, qualities, how I present in the world, like where I'm both what's considered to be masculine, left brain, and then what's considered to be right brain, creativity. I've always had both. And what happens, like when I'm in relationships with people, especially guys who display like, I don't like the term toxic masculinity, but I would say like unhealthy masculine traits, I tend to mirror those to them. And so that's where I kind of get the stigma of being mannish or whatever. But I mean, you come at me the wrong way, you're going to pretty much get back whatever you put out to me. So, you know what I'm saying? I have a tendency to either mirror the best or worst qualities in people and kind of reflect and show them that, you know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know if, because I have that quality or ability about myself, if that's why I'm able to be both, you know, left and right brained, or display both masculine and feminine qualities kind of in a balanced way. But like I said, when I'm in an imbalanced situation, those qualities about myself kind of become out of balance. Whereas I find when I'm in balance, I think that it's my opinion that everyone should have their masculine and feminine qualities in balance. I think that's how we're supposed to live. We don't have two sides to our brain for nothing, you know. So, but when I'm around people who are out of balance, I tend to kind of reflect that to them. So that's where the stigma comes in about me.
Okay.
Shonda always gonna hit us with the scientific stuff. Yeah. I done Googled and learned a whole new word. Watch me use it tomorrow. Word of the day.
Yeah, so I'm not really like, there's different ways they use androgynous. You know, people dress androgynously. You know, I'm psychologically androgynous, technically.
Oh my Lord. Girl, we gonna have to put something on the screen
with the definition. I have the definition. Because she be. I had to look like, am I androgynous? Let me look it up.
Right, like, am I?
I can be.
I'm literally
Like, I think the
fun,
value in
y'all,
it,
so-
when I read the definition, just means, in my mind, tomboy. Like, that's it.
Well, when you're a woman that's androgynous, you're a tomboy, and when you're a man that's androgynous, you're a metrosexual.
Metrosexual, yep.
What?
Now I know you heard that word.
No, I have not. I'm not gonna tell y'all the word I was thinking because I don't think that's appropriate. Because the word I was thinking started with an S and ended with a Y. But I mean, somebody gotta let me know what is this? Sheltered.
A metrosexual is a straight man who displays his like healthy feminine qualities,
like they really dress. They're real big on their hygiene,
manicures,
they get manicures, they
yeah,
get pedicures.
Yeah.
But they are heterosexual.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, see, is this term considered a stigma in the male? Let me be careful when I say this.
It is. Some men will not want to identify because it's linked negatively to other categories, which I don't believe. Like, I have my tomboyish ways, but baby, when I dress up and get clean, now I'm in my feminine ways. So that's why what she was explaining is it's crazy because of course, you know, you have these definitions that we never even knew the word to, but like when she was explaining, I'm like, that just reminds me of a tomboy. Yeah. For women, it's okay, but the word for men is not okay. So you just be having to tread lightly. It's that, you know, double-edged sword there.
Because I'm just saying, I like a man that can get very polished. Are you saying that metrosexual would is the same thing as polished men?
This is somebody who is regularly very polished. So,
but are into women.
Yeah. And have healthy masculine traits.
See, because now what's healthy and what's unhealthy? See, this is where I feel like we're starting to get into stigmas. What's considered healthy masculine traits? We're gonna have to bring this up in the
I'm trying to think of a man that we can give in it. Like, I feel like a Steve Harvey, but we don't know what he's like on a daily basis. But when you see him in front of the camera, he's very they're gonna be like, what are we laughing at? That is so crazy. But he's very well groomed. He's very well put together. His appearance, his clothing, you could tell he got manicures, pedicures. He's lined up, trimmed up, like he's ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
From an outward standpoint, he will be like the textbook definition of a metrosexual.
But we don't know what he'd be like on the days he ain't in front of the camera. He might be in some grandpa sweats and a holy tank top, for all we know.
And some Jesus sandals.
No. So I feel like
Steve got some Jesus sandals.
Was a great example because I was this child. The first thing I thought of when y'all brought up Steve Harvey was that's why he wrote "Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man."
He's acting too much. I must spit my water. Princess is connecting the dots to everything, and he put a zigzag in it, P.
I mean, but even like, so if you look at that from an energetic perspective, you know, femininity is the receptive energy, and masculinity is the energy that takes action. It's the thinking energy. It's the one that puts the thoughts out there. You know what I'm saying? And the feminine energy
just hate that we have to have these names and stigmas because in essence, you really want a man to have some sort of feminine energy so that he can be emotionally able to connect. Like, you can't be like, I need you to come with this testosterone because testosterone is gonna bring hard and but when I'm crying, I don't need you to come. What's wrong with you, baby?
Hey, some women might like that.
Then she needs to go to look. I'll have them post my life coaching link. She need to go talk to somebody. You know, it's okay to be soft and emotionally intelligent and able to connect on an emotional level without all the.
I'm with you. So the brothers actually talked about that on episode 1. Why don't men show emotion? I think that was verbatim the title, but let me not mess it up. Y'all go review it. But they did talk about that. And I was live in the comments when that episode first aired, and there was some woman on here like, no, I want a hard man. And I responded.
That's why I said some people like that.
No.
I think that's a trauma response.
I think so too.
Because no, if you knew love in its softest form, you wouldn't want nobody to be hard all the time.
Right.
Like,
And vulnerability is one of those healthy feminine emotions.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, so what values should we expect in relationships?
I think it's different for everybody. Honestly, because it depends on that person's personal values to begin with. Just making sure that you are equally yoked with the person that you're dealing with so that your values are in alignment with each other. I mean, I don't think I think, of course, there are certain maybe foundational things that probably every relationship should have, but I think outside of that, it's probably more better determined by the people in that relationship.
You know what's funny? I made a post today and it said, date a man based on the fruits he bear and not his potential.
I saw that.
I had men in my inbox. It was a couple on a post that were commenting as though I said something damaging, like I was shaming a man. And it's just like, do you not understand what the fruits of a person are? Like, should I have said the values of a man? Should I change the word? Because what you just said,
I don't think that was the part that was offensive to them.
Yeah,
but it's the potential part that was offensive.
Because they want us to look into who they could be, but it's like, again, and this was preached at the Women Evolve conference, which is where I kind of got that from. But it's just like, you can't want a person, and this goes both ways, but for the most part, women are always, and I'm not going to say always, for the most part, women undermine their values and ethics to meet a man where he is based on the potential of where she see he could be. But sometimes a man doesn't even see his own potential, and that's a whole nother trigger thing. But it also happens vice versa with women. But I was simply, when I make my posts, I'm making them some days for men, some days for women, some days for kids. And I really just felt that way from my own experience, because I am an empath. Being a person that is big on healing and loving and mental health, I seem to attract people that need healing.
Wounded people. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, I can be in your life to help you heal and get to a next level, but it doesn't always need to be in an intimate relationship.
And it don't need to be permanent.
I've learned that, and I'm okay with the relationships that have come and gone, because I feel like I've shined my light enough in your life. What you do with it is what you do with it. I planted a seed. Now, hopefully you got something to water that soil, or it won't.
Because otherwise they'll drag you down while they're not actively working to heal.
Absolutely. And I'm going to keep saying, or vice versa.
Taking your light for their energy, keep coming in your light, depending on your light, and not trying to brighten their own. You know what I mean?
They taking out my watts until I ain't got no more light.
You hear me?
Dimming me up.
That's why I'm glowing, because I didn't cut everybody off.
I knew it was the reason the glow was there. You better tell it. Tell it like
tell us, God. Ooh. If y'all are listening to this podcast audio only, I'm gonna need y'all to go to YouTube and check my girl out, because she is for real the definition of glow. Now, okay, so while y'all was talking, I went on ahead and had to pull back and get into cyber world and look up this post, because I did. And somebody got on a man, and he said, now if a man posted this, let's unpack that. I know it's kind of rude to attack him while he's not here to talk, but he's more than welcome to join unpacking what happened there. We'll be happy to have you next week, brother. But
it just sounds like a typical automated response.
It does. And here's my pushback. My pushback is gonna be, this is kind of stigma-ish, but like, I don't feel like I ever see men making posts about a woman having fruits. I be seeing posts about what we should wear, how we shouldn't have lashes on, why we got this wig on, why our toenails not done,
why y'all always twerking on camera.
But if you pay attention, all the things that they shame are the things that build their trophy wife.
Come on.
I'm gonna just sit back.
Come on.
Sit back.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Because the crazy thing is, I talked to another man, and one of the things that I didn't understand, and like, I have a lot of male friends because I be wanting perspective from a male's perspective, a point of view from a male's perspective. I said that all backwards. But it's like, men will look at women with BBLs. They'll follow all kind of strippers, but then they despise that for their own woman. And it's like, how do you expect her to have confidence if you're gawking over what she's not?
Thank you.
Well, because I don't want other men. You don't want her to possess the things that you lust over, because then you'll be intimidated by the men that are also lusting over the thing that you have. So you want to lust over somebody else's trophy wife, and then you want to try to have this virtuous wife that you're not making feel virtuous because she doesn't have the body of the trophy wife that the other man got. Like, y'all gotta quit flipping and flopping and not knowing where you want to land. Like, I don't understand it. Like, you gotta stand for something or fall for everything.
Girl, if you don't come on.
I'm just saying.
And I feel like that's why, as women, we have our values all twisted, turned upside down, upside down, inside out. Little values are made bigger values are shrunk, because we out here, most women, we feel like our purpose is really made complete whenever we have a partner, whenever we have a husband. Like, a lot of us, we can be out here serving the world, helping people change lives, really, trailblazing and doing things that's changing society, that's building up souls. But for most women, if you do not have someone whose rib you belong to, you feel like you're not virtuous, or like you don't have values. So instead of prioritizing the things that actually, the traits and qualities that actually does build someone up, right? That's actually loving, that's actual virtues, we start prioritizing the values that have to do with what can I do to, be a catalyst for a man to desire me. It's like we want the desire more than we want the relationship, the connection. And I'm not blaming it all on men. Not at all. But I definitely think that it's fuel to the fire when there is this, world where men are basically like, you got to be BBL, you got to have the perfect face, the perfect hair. You can't be out here sloppy. Don't nobody want to see you wearing them short shorts. And we all don't look like Hooters girls. And most of them don't even come anyway.
And most of them are falling off anyway.
I saw this the other day, because apparently now the trend is, so y'all know when we was growing up, the trend was to be like super thin, right? And then it went to, now you got to be thick, you got to have an ass, you got to have an hourglass figure type of thing, right? Now we're going back to thin is in. And the problem with this, with society and people not thinking for themselves, is now all them people that done went and got this surgery to be thick, now what? You not your authentic self, because you try. And look, I don't knock nobody for what they do. I don't want it to come off like that at all. My thing is, if you did it for yourself, more power to you. Mm-hmm. If that's what you wanted for yourself, I'm not knocking it. If you did it because you want to fit in, or because you want to look a certain way or be a certain way because of what society says, thinks, or feels, there's a problem with that. There's healing that needs to be done. You know what I'm saying? Because how you gonna be in a healthy relationship and you don't even accept yourself for who you are and how you look? I don't think that's possible. I don't think it's possible to be in a healthy relationship without self-love and self-acceptance.
That part.
Agreed.
That part. Okay, so I want to read a snippet. Actually, Sister Janine, she brought this up in our prior episode, but she had something going on. Couldn't make it tonight. However, I do want to read this. Proverbs 31. She talked about it. It's very popular. It's what defines a virtuous woman. So I'm just going to read a couple of scriptures. Like I tell everybody, I have likely heard me say it on Unpacking before. I'm not out here telling everybody that on this exact reading, you got to be a Christian. But I always say, try the Bible out, because it's a principle. We all live by code. We all have principles. And so if you're going to be tuning into this show, you're going to be hearing about our codes and our principles. Okay. Proverbs 31:10 reads, an excellent woman, one who is spiritual, capable, intelligent, and virtuous. Who is he who can find her? Her value is more precious than jewels, and her worth is far above rubies or pearls. The heart of her husband trusts in her with secure confidence. I'm going to run that back. The heart of her husband trusts in her with secure confidence, and he will have no lack of gain. She comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil all the days of her life. So if I'm going to break that down a little bit, I'm going to say that there are these elements of a woman that's not going to dwindle away with time, i.e. the way my body look. We're going to sag at some point. I want to live to be 100. I'm a sag. I'm just saying. I'm a sag at some point.
Something going to be sagging.
It's just part of the body, right? So there are elements of a woman that should be so ingrained in who she is and connected to her values and her virtues that is what's going to draw a man in. That's what's going to pull him, because a woman who has those values, she is worth more than any gem, jewel, or pretty thing on this earth. And it's those values, those virtues that really solidifies a man's heart. That's what gets him, so that he has no lack of gain. Like the verse said, no lack of gain. That means that he is constantly gaining. He's constantly winning. He's winning. And so what are your virtues? What are your values? And brothers out here who acting like they don't need that, I hope you heal.
For real.
Because it's almost like both the fruits that a man bear and the things that a virtuous woman possess are connected to God. So anything aligned with him is going to be good for you.
Women carry.
You want to flip the conversation. You want to flip the post and say, if a man said it, yes, a man should say it. And a man should want a woman, his potential wife, to bear the fruits of what Proverbs 31 says. Like if she doesn't, then you might want to consider who you are asking to be your wife. Or if that's not a necessity to you because you want this facet of a woman that society says, then you also have to know that that woman is eventually going to sag. So what you're going in it for isn't what you're going to get long term. So the things that come with time and that stay are what's within, not the outside. And it sounds so cliche, but it's so true. And if you believe in the word, or if you believe in God, then there's your proof right there.
And we tend to have, certain types of soul connections with people already. And part of that is, some of it is karma, like, some of it is lessons we got to learn. Like, that saying, some people in your life for a season and some people in your life for a reason, and we got to be able to discern which people are there for a season. Like, Devin was talking about the being an empath and being a healer and knowing when it's time to cut people off because they draining you. You know what I mean? But from a spiritual standpoint, with the being a virtuous woman, again, that goes back to, I think, and the fruit. That's what Devin was saying about the fruits. What I was gonna say is having to do with women. The energetic signature that women carry is a fertile signature. We carry the signature of creation, literally, and so of course he's gonna gain. Of course, if she's whole as a person by herself, when she gets with him, how could it be anything else? But that's why women who are whole or tend to be whole as a person can attract broken men, because they're trying to steal that wholeness in a way, because they can't gain it. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yes.
And that's why I think, like, as far as the whole thing, as far as a trophy wife, because you see a lot of women who are empaths kind of fall into, or maybe caring, nurturing people kind of fall into those situations, because 9 times out of 10, those men that need a woman to validate them, they have no self-love, they have no self-worth, so they need her light to validate them when they need it. And when they're done, just like a trophy, she goes on the shelf.
So I know Princess just read the scripture for a virtuous wife. You know, we like google.com queens here. So I pulled up the definition for a trophy wife, and I'm going to read it and then I'm going to say something. So a trophy wife is a young, attractive woman who is the wife of a rich and successful older person and acts as a symbol of the person's social position. So first off, I said this in one of our episodes before, we misuse terms. Some people are getting these labels that they don't deserve. You can't say you have a trophy wife if you're not a rich and successful older man. And women can't say that they're a trophy wife if they don't fit the criteria of what it says. And I say that to say, I used to label myself as what I thought was a trophy wife. One, because it seemed as though I was in a marriage where I was creating an image for him. And I say that to say, I gave myself that title because, in my opinion, a trophy wife was somebody that gave an image that helped solidify the fantasy world of what said man thought his social status was. So me feeling like I'm giving him this image of what he thought a man was supposed to be, what he thought family was supposed to be, also that he could hide his true identity. I thought that's what I was doing for him. Per that definition, I wasn't a trophy nothing because he wasn't rich and successful, for one. But two, again, we have to stop putting these labels on ourselves and our brothers and sisters that don't apply. There is no prize, no possession in being a trophy wife. There's no honor in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we walk around with these labels like it's a Gucci bag, and we be the knockout versions. Like, and we really have to understand that our value and our honor comes in being virtuous, not being a trophy, because like LaShonda said, that's something that you put a trophy on a shelf
and it
builds dust. You know, like it's something to give you accolades and make you feel like you're better than. It causes for celebration. But a virtuous wife, those are values and things that are created in her, and she brings a foundation, and she brings a sense of peace, and she brings so much more that is not tangible, because it also says that in the scripture somewhere in there. I'm not gonna quote it because I ain't the pastor, but she read it. Like, things that a woman can bring that don't cost are things that are of value. So
I don't like the idea of being objectified in any sense.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah.
I'm not an object. I'm a human being. Treat me as such.
Period.
And what's interesting is that, I do feel like that term trophy wife, it kind of has created an illusion, like you said, Devin, in our community, because women be wanting to be with the popular man and be like, oh, I'm going to be his trophy. I want to be on his arm, right? Some women that want the ball players for the fame. Some women that want to be with the, the king of the hood. I mean, we're just going to talk about it. Want to be with the king of the hood because, oh, he out here doing it. I'm going to be on his arm. And we're out here chasing men and really, to be honest, objectifying them for what everybody else is perceiving them to be and wanting to basically continue to live into that so that then the man starts to objectify us, right? And there's some women that honestly don't want to look in the mirror. They will walk around all day objectifying me. How much money you got? Is you fit? What shoe size you wear? I mean, I'm not saying, pleasure ain't important. I'm not saying that, but it should not be the number one thing. So women, if we're out here doing that for men and we're being shallow for what men want, why do we get upset when we get objectified?
Look, it's like this. You got two options in life, basically. You got service to self and service to others. Them is your two options. And people who objectify other people are service to self type of people. They have transactional mindsets. And a lot of times those people was made for each other because they own the same type of stuff anyway. The gold digger and the dude that's only looking at a woman's external, they made for each other.
Yeah.
They toxic. They gonna trauma bond. They gonna fight. They go, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know the story. It's one that stays on the feeds constantly, and I don't follow none of them people. And y'all know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. And I think sometimes I wonder if that's what fuels this vindictive feeling when relationships don't work. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you're rejecting me, or oh, you saying I ain't worth nothing, or like we start treating people who we're in relationships with as if they are objects because we assume we have some sort of ownership. over them. Like, no, every person has freedom of choice. And yes, breakups are hard. Yes, divorces are hard, but sometimes things are just not meant to be. And so I'm not really supportive of the whole, let me be vindictive. If you don't want to be with me, you can't be with nobody. And, let me try to have a child with him to lock him down. Like, that's all toxic behavior that fuels mental health issues and threatens your mental wellness. And
that's called obsession. That's what it's called. Obsession.
Infatuation is another very dangerous thing that leads to obsession. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So we have to stop and ask ourselves, right? Like, why are we intertwined with the person that we're intertwined with? Why are we having relations with the people that we are having relations with? Because that's a big deal. When you have a child with someone, y'all are family. Y'all are bound spiritually now. You literally just created
a whole new soul contract. A whole new soul contract.
People don't believe it.
A whole new karmic cycle.
And now you have that bitterness, right? That vindictiveness. When you are holding all of that as a woman and you are pregnant, I'm just saying, I'm going to speak out of my league a little bit here, but I have two mothers on here that I know can vouch for this. I'm also a discerner and empath, as Devin says. And I can tell you this, when you holding all that in and you are carrying your child, like, that's a very sacred process.
Absolutely.
And what you are, just like how what you eat physically can affect your child.
You creating a seed of Chucky.
What you feed your child spiritually, like what you're feeding your mind mentally, emotionally when you are pregnant. You have to be careful with that.
Absolutely.
Generational curses are so real. And so values and virtues are literally the breath of life when you're thinking about what are you feeding your soul? What are you feeding your spirit? What are you injecting into your legacy?
And that about what you're doing, like when you're pregnant. Listen, I was the happy-go-lucky pregnant woman, and like I had the real pregnancy glow. I was the one everybody wanted to rub the belly, and when I tell you that I had the happiest baby, and she's still friendly, and you know, she never met a stranger, never, since she was little. And so that stuff really matters, you know, about how we are in our environment, because we talked about this before, the whole epigenetics thing, how our environment affects our genes. You know, we have to be mindful of things that we're doing. And you know, if you constantly want to be sitting up, I don't see how people constantly want to be sitting up arguing with nobody or fussing with nobody. That should give me a headache and make my stomach hurt. Get that away from me. I don't have time. And listen, I'm not no vengeful type of person, because the type of protection I got, you might not want to mess with me, because I ain't never fought my own battles. Listen.
Come on.
She said, because I ain't never fought my own battles. Now, they're right there.
No matter how much people have tried to provoke me, I've always turned the other cheek. Now, if you put your hands on me, we have a problem. But so far, ain't too many people tried that. So, you know, I mean, but yeah, you don't come for people that's out here doing good in the world. You just don't.
Come on. And y'all know I got to throw some of my code at it. My Bible say, touch not my anointed.
Thank you.
For those who don't know the anointed, okay, that's one who has favor with God, who has covering, who God knows intimately. Touch not my anointed and do my prophet no harm. I'm just saying, y'all better be careful, because you don't know really who you could be messing with. And you don't know what damage you can be doing within your own legacy, your own, you know, household. Your own life.
Cursing your own bloodline.
Building generational curses. Generational curses don't just appear. They happen from decisions. And, you know, for as much as we like to hold those who came before us, our ancestors, our grandparents, for as much as we want to hold them accountable for their generational curses, you have to be willing to do that for yourself, because we are very powerful. And that we got to go to commercial break, y'all. But I want to start the next segment talking about the power of a woman. I do. I got a question I want to ask y'all. So we're going to go ahead and throw some, you know, love to our sponsors and go on a commercial break. We'll be right back. Angela Marie Publishing presents, in association with the Blacked Out Couch podcast, The Healing Collection, featuring apparel with 10 unique designs to represent your healing journey in style. Also, check out the Survivor, our custom tote bag tailored for carrying those day-to-day loads. A portion of all proceeds are donated to mental health organizations dedicated to the culture and the community. Visit our store by clicking the link in the description or going to www.angelamariepublishing.com to shop now and support the movement. Let's heal.
As a community, we look at the word trauma as one of those hush-hush words.
Fall 2023.
It's a stigma around that word. Like, nobody wants to be labeled or be classified under that.
Angela Marie Publishing proudly presents.
If you look at it, trauma is merely just being exposed, or voluntarily or involuntarily, to a situation that changes your outlook.
Sit in your shit. a 30-day guided journal for processing a crisis.
You have become accustomed and immune to your own shit.
Written by Miss Devin Elise, certified life coach and founder of Lifted KC.
Because mental health doesn't care where you are, what you're doing, who you are. It's gonna kick in when it wanna kick in.
Fall 2023, sit in your shit.
When it finds its place to trigger you, boom, you're triggered. If you don't deal with the trauma, you're gonna constantly be triggered.
The highly anticipated guided journal from Kansas City's own Devin Elise.
And one of the things that I'm learning in my associates with this healing is to be aware and to sit in my shit.
For more information, visit AngelaMariePublishing.com.
When I feel something, I sit there and figure it out. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling? Because when I can identify it, the next go round, I can prevent it before it comes.
Sit in your shit. Available now.
Okay, all right, y'all. Thanks for all of the wonderful words from our sponsors. But now I want to hit the sisters with a question. Sisters, if you had to describe in your own words why women are so powerful, what would you say?
I think that goes back to what I was saying earlier about us carrying that creative spirit, that creative energy. We can generate energy ourselves when we're in our power. And, you know, that's why, like we talked about the whole light. Sorry, I got a text message in. When we talked about the whole light thing, I mean, that's a form of power, and women have the ability in their wholeness to generate that power by themselves.
That's a good answer. I would say because we were created to carry life, like that makes us powerful in itself. You know what I'm saying? Like there would be no life without the womb of a woman. And I believe that that was God's intent. And I think for that reason, that brings us value. And that's where our power lies, in being able to create life.
I love that. I love that. Okay. I'm going to put a twist on my perspective by trying to tie back to both of y'all's. So I would always wonder why, what was the significance of the woman being a rib of the man, right? And I used to always think it's just because she's part of him. But why did it have to be that particular part? Why couldn't it be some other part of the body? Yeah, but not just the heart, the whole thoracic cavity.
Yeah.
And the thoracic cavity is all of the critical organs that you need to live. That's not your brain. It's your lungs. It's your nervous system part that's not in the brain, because you have very important nerves that live in that area of your body, right? And the reason why they're there is because your heart, your lungs, all of that functions without you having to tell your body to do it. And your so gut, the nerves, exactly, the nerves that live in that part of the body have to be on point, constantly working all the time. They have to be on fleek. And the ribs cover all of that. They literally are the protection of that life, right? And so when you think about the purpose of the woman, everything about her, like Devin was saying, everything about her has to do with cradling life. Everything, cradling the sensitive and the intimate parts of life. We're the rib. We cover the sensitive, the intimate, and the very important part of the organs, right? And we're the key to life. So not only do we have the power to speak and breathe life, but we're the key to life. And connecting that back to what Shonda says, we really can change atmospheres. My husband slapped me in the face one day, y'all.
What?
Because we were arguing one morning. I don't know what I did. I did something, but either way, I didn't do what he was expecting me to do. And y'all know that's the one thing that leads arguments. When someone isn't behaving in another person's expectation, that's always the root of an argument. So I wasn't behaving the way that he expected me to. And he said to me, you know what your problem is? You don't recognize the power that you have over the atmosphere in this home.
That's right. That's right.
That was the
Absolutely.
smack, y'all, just for y'all thinking that her husband was physically abusing her. Because you know somebody just got to clean that up because somebody might come in. But that was powerful. That was powerful, but I got to make sure ain't nobody coming from my brother's neck later. Because they will play it.
Because he
was a metaphor, y'all. It's a metaphor. But that was a powerful metaphor.
But when you talk about protection too, you know, a lot of times men have the idea that they are the protectors. Mm-hmm. Yeah, y'all are physical protectors, but who is y'all spiritual protection?
Come on.
Nurturing.
Come on. That's what nurturing is. Exactly.
Nurturing is protecting. Like if you look at like the whole animal kingdom, like the mother protects her cub, like it's by nature. You're not taught to do it. Protection isn't something that you're taught. Now, our protection looks totally different from a man's protection. And like we're saying, it's coming from a nurturing place. It's coming from, we're making sure you're fed. We're making sure you're well groomed. We're making sure that the main things that will keep your heart beating are secure. It's covered. You know, like when you go to bed at night, if you have a virtuous woman, she's praying over you. You don't even have to hear it or know it. But you gotta know that when you walk out that door, she just put a hedge of protection over you. She sent up one to the Father on your behalf, because that's what a virtuous wife does. Not a trophy wife. She just want to be seen. But a virtuous wife is heard by God on your behalf.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Y'all better choose wisely.
Okay.
Choose wisely. And when
because look, some of them ain't praying for good.
They praying, but they ain't PRA.
You hear me?
They are PRY. Change that down real quick. A whole nother definition. Y'all better pray that y'all picking the right ones that are going to pray for you to the Lord above
and not pray on you.
Downfall, not just want you because, like somebody said, what you call him, the king of the neighborhood, the king of the streets,
king of the streets, king of the hood,
king of the hood.
He for the streets.
She is too. Neither one of them praying for each other. Okay. They ain't praying for each other.
Come on, I'm just saying, and it's that power is so important. So when you're thinking about society and these stigmas, like why do y'all think it's so common for women to not focus on the power that she really has? Right? We talked about this a little bit in episode 2 of Blacked Out Couch, Strong Black Woman, where we were like basically talking to how women have misconstrued our power and thinking that we are powerful for holding the house down from a provider's perspective. And so we feel like we're strong if we're really playing the role that a man should be playing, instead of being strong in the power that we really do have, all the things we just talked about. So why do y'all feel like I want to talk about black women. We don't talk about women in general. Nothing against non-black women, but this is Blacked Out Couch. Black women. Why do you feel like we are so okay with disregarding what our real power is?
Because we've been over masculinized.
Generational curses have taught us what strength looks like, or what it's supposed to look like. And everything that we've been taught has been the complete opposite. And once you really tap into your true self and really start healing, you start to realize that you have done yourself a disservice to honor yourself as this strong black woman that can pay all the bills. I don't want to be that no more. I swear to God, I don't. Like, I really am in a season where I want to be comfortable asking for help. I want to be comfortable receiving it, not to be lazy, but to really allow a man to step into his king authority and ignite the things that are in him to provide and to protect and to do the things that a leader is called to do, but making sure that I am being his helpmate and being having the power that I have to pray over him, to pray into my family. Like, I just feel like our hearts connect to God differently. Like, I don't know if there's no scripture to back this, but this is just my personal feeling. Like, I feel like because God knew he was creating us and he was intentional with how he created us, with you just breaking down how he took us from the rib of a man. He knew exactly why he took us from the rib, and he knew the power that we would have coming from that particular area, and the ability for us to intercede on behalf of our men. It's just a softness to God's ear, I believe. Like, I feel like he is going to melt when we go to him on behalf of our man. And he's like, this is what I created y'all for. Your job is to pray for your man. Your job is to nurture that man. Your job is to speak life into that man. Like, you created this life. Now every woman's job is to speak life into a man. Like, not just your son, not just your husband, but any man that you come in contact with, uplift that man. Like, I will make a post, Black man, we thank you. Black man, we need you. Black man, we love you. Black man, we're praying for you. Because sometimes all a man here is what they aren't, what they can't do, what odds are against them. Like, the power of speaking life into a man just elevates that man to another level. And I really believe that God created us for those purposes. Like, we look at it in a bad way. Like, I shouldn't have to always. Why not?
Hello.
Why not?
We carry most of the gifts when it comes to spirituality. You know, we a lot of times more are the seers. You know, we are able to intuit things. We are able to just know things. You know, don't go that way. Like, I feel that. Don't go that way. You know what I'm saying? That just goes right back to, you know, the same way men. I've heard this in conversation before about how if a man tells his woman not to go to a certain place because he knows what type of environment that is. He don't necessarily know that something is going to happen, but he knows what type of environment that is. In the same situation, the woman knows something is going to happen.
That spirit of discernment.
Hello.
So whereas the man may say, well, logically, it's this and this and this and that going on over there, so it's probably not safe for her to go that way. A woman would say, don't take yourself over there, because I know something going to happen.
Hello.
I don't know what's over there, but I feel it.
I feel it, because because that's where our energy comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That womb ain't just meant to give birth.
It's not. It's not.
So much more.
No. You receive. Listen, I'm about to go off on the science tangent, okay?
Let's do it. We're here for it.
This ain't in the womb, though. This is actually in your stomach, in your gut. The vagus nerve, you were talking about the nerve system that go up through. The vagus nerve is the nerve that carries information from your gut to your brain. It's one of the larger transporters of information. That's why when, I don't know if y'all experience this, but when I'm having an intuitive fit, that's why they call it a gut feeling. It's a connection from your gut to your right brain, the right side of your brain. That's why it's called a gut feeling.
Come on and connect the dots.
That's where that sacral energy is. That's where that energy is. That's where that womb energy is at. It's all connected. That's why we feel that shit. And what happens when women are not in their power, your intuitive gifts are blocked. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through it. I went through years. I've been a dreamer since I was a kid, like very lucid, vivid dreams since I was a kid. And I went through a period of time where I was in a hypersexual type of state. You know what I'm saying? Like, where I just had to be, yeah. Anyway, during that time, like, I literally have no creativity, no dreams. Why? Because I'm giving all of that energy out to other people and I'm not restoring myself.
Mm. Mm.
Mm. So you just hit something in me, because I was speaking to my self-proclaimed godmother. She is a woman that I met as a full adult, but she is my godmother. Period.
I got one
And
too.
okay, and I know she don't comment when she watches this and when she hears this, because I've been trying to get her on, and she's like, I'll do public speaking. I'm like, but it's virtual. It's the same thing. Okay, but she faithfully watches our episodes. And, she said, so what's the next episode going to be about? I'm ready. And I told her, I said, it's going to be about Trophy Token and Virtuous Woman. And she's like, what you mean? And I explained it to her. She said, And we was just sitting next to each other quiet for a while. And she goes, well, I'll just tell you mine. Mine is that I felt like I always had to have intercourse with the man. I knew that's what they want, so that's what I was going to give, and that's what I thought made me a virtuous woman. That's all she had to do was that. And then get confused when he starts doing that somewhere else or with someone else. Because she's doing it. What else was she supposed to be doing?
I just didn't have strong boundaries, and I was hypersexualized because of sexual abuse from when I was a kid. So that was my thing. Like, I didn't know how to say no, especially if I really like somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, or let's wait type of shit. You know what I mean? So that was more so my thing. And then that was a point in my life too where I felt like I couldn't be alone. So, like, I've been single now for over 5 years, you know what I'm saying? But I've been working on myself for a long time. I want a healthy relationship. So I don't want to go into no relationship with all of this trauma, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've dated, but what they say, the dating pool got pee in it. They make me sick, like physically sick.
I ain't never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Ain't nobody
goodness.
swimming in them pools no more. You better not. Like, come out with anything. Find what you can find and lock it down. Make sure it's good for you.
And that's why
I don't like dating for that reason.
Because I understand now that what's meant for me is going to come to me. I'm not going to have to go looking for it.
Yep.
Come on.
And God ain't going to give you nothing. He's not going to give you a blessing that you'll destroy when he knows you're not ready.
That part.
Hello.
So sometimes we be rushing and he said, not right now.
That's why I just been sitting down and doing my healing work.
And so much power in the healing, baby.
Hello. And look, this is why, in my opinion, women who do seek to be married at some point, like Shonda just said, you got to work on yourself. You got to get yourself together, because, the values that you portray in your non-marital relationships are really for practice. For when you get married, right? And what we just read in Proverbs 31, when we were reading the biblical definition of a virtuous woman, one of the descriptions was that she comforts, encourages, and does him only good and not evil. But if you've never done that before, for people who are in your life, what make you think you're ready to do that in a...
Or vice versa, if you never learned how to set boundaries. And you're overextending yourself, because that was my problem. My problem was I'm this big loving person and I love everybody and I jump in a relationship and he getting the husband treatment, you know what I'm saying? Right out the gate type of stuff. And that's what they come to expect, but then don't want to give you long term or treat you how you should be treated. And me, I didn't set boundaries like I was supposed to. Mm-hmm. So while I had those comforting, nurturing qualities, I didn't know when to pull back. I didn't know when to say no.
Yeah. And that's super important.
Yeah.
That's super important. Yeah. I know I'm going to stick with it because I didn't read this far down in Proverbs, but Proverbs 31:17 says that a virtuous woman equips herself with strength spiritually, mentally, and physically. And makes her arms strong. They don't literally mean your arms, but you should be able to recognize, right, when you need to take a pause and go pour back into yourself. You need boundaries. You have to be able to understand. Yes, the self-care. The self-care. And recognizing when you are being overextended. Because I have an issue with that. I like to say yes to everybody and help this is another thing.
You martyr yourself, basically.
Yes. Yes. I do that all the time because I just want to love. I want to elevate people. I want to see people's vision come to life. And I don't think about how, energy is not something that's just there. We don't have an infinite reservoir. And so having to learn those boundaries so that I can stay strong, right? So that I can be able to replenish. So that I can be centered and holy myself, the person, the princess that God made me to be, right?
You can't be the help that you want to be to other people if you're not.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that really matter is understanding that your first ministry is to your home. So it's great to be all these amazing things and want to heal people and everybody have access to you. But if you are not pouring into your home first, and if you're not making sure that you have enough to give to them, then you're out of alignment anyway. So understanding,
and it's a ripple effect. It ripples out. It ripples out. It ripples out into your family. It ripples out into your neighborhood. It ripples out into your immediate environment and even environments that you may not have any connection to right now, but you've been in connection with those people before. So if you're imbalanced in your relationship, for example, and people are looking at your relationship as an example because maybe they've seen you in a place of being imbalanced at some point and they're looking at you as an example. Well, if you're not staying in balance, that is rippling out into your environment because people are already looking at you. And then people don't even have to be looking at you. The way you carry your energy is a natural ripple effect. That's why they got the song "This Little Light of Mine, I'ma Let It Shine," because when you let your light shine in darkness, it lights up the darkness. It illuminates. It illuminates. So.
Yes.
That's all right. And again, while you out there illuminating or dimming, right? Because we are spiritually powerful. Like that's what it is with a woman. We are reservoirs of spiritual power. We are literally the keys, the gateways to life. We're influential. One of the most powerful parts of Genesis to me, when everybody talk about Eve and eating the apple and, oh, she was so bad, she convinced her husband. The power of influence. Okay? We are spiritually and mentally and atmospherically powerful beings. And
the womb is a portal. It's a literal portal for life, for spirit. It's a portal. That's why you're not supposed to let everybody in your portal.
Okay. You have to be careful. You have to be mindful. Come on now. And that's why mental wellness, mental awareness, it matters. It's Absolutely. So important, especially for women, because we're the foundation. Everybody say this is a man's world, but the woman is the foundation of the world, right? Like, and so I just encourage all of the sisters out there to take care of yourself Be aware. Do not be swayed by stigmas of society. You know, it's okay to want to have goals and to want to look cute and get your hair done, but make sure that you have your priorities and your perspectives in balance. When was the last time that you talked about to yourself, to your family, to your loved ones, to your friends, what your virtues are, what your values are? Miss Devin Elise has talked to us about in past episodes, teaching other people how to love you. Well, you have to know what behaviors you value and you need to even accept and be prepared for that love.
And you have to know your flaws. You have to. People want to so bad wear a mask, deny their flaws, get in these relationships, and now this person never saw this side of you. Now your mask done came off. You know what I mean? Like,
you've been giving up the representative.
Because the only way you're going to find the person that's supposed to be with you is by walking in your authenticity. Because I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people wear a mask for long periods of time. So like when I was young, my friend used to always be like, well, you got to do this to get a guy, or you got to ignore him, or whatever. You know, all these little things you're supposed to do to attract. I said, if I got to do all that stuff, I just won't have no man. I don't have time to be playing games with people. Period. So when people don't know and they looking at all these different dating advice things and you should do this and you should do, just be yourself. Damn, if they don't like you, they don't like you. Move on.
Right. Agreed. Accountability is key.
Yes. Do not sacrifice yourself, your worth, your being for the sake of someone else's approval. Your approval should be top notch. It should be super, super, super important for you.
Because that's God's approval.
Come on. All right, ladies. I feel like we just naturally walked right on into the advice section of the podcast. What are some affirmations that we got? Listen, we've been out here going. Let's save some of this for the unpacking. Let's start wrapping up. What affirmations do we have out here to kind of end the podcast?
I've been going hard on this one, so Devin, go ahead.
I'm like, affirmations. We are power. Like, don't be afraid to walk in your boldness. Don't be afraid to shine your light. Don't let anyone dim your light. Be unapologetically you. Know that you are wonderfully and fearfully made by God himself. He was intentional about where he was going to create us from when he was pulling us from the rib of man. So he knows exactly what our purpose is in this life, in this world, and it's to love, it is to nurture, it is to walk in our power, and it is to spread light and love all over this world. So do that, and you will be a virtuous woman, and your king will find you. That's what I say.
So what I'm going to say, and I think this is really, really important, because we can be so like judgmental and hard on ourselves. So I think it's super important to love yourself right where you are at right now. So no matter what your goals are, no matter where you want to try to be, it's very important to love yourself where you're at.
That's huge. That is huge. Be gentle with yourself.
Absolutely. Show yourself the same empathy and compassion that you show other people.
Give yourself grace. I like that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I want to maybe start mine by clarifying something. Shonda and I have talked about this. I think we both feel very strongly about it. Ms. Devin said that we are fearfully made. Now, a lot of misconceptions about the word fear in the Bible is that it means to be afraid of, but really that's a translation issue. Really what's meant by fear is to reverence, to have awe of, to have deep respect for. So reverence is really when you look at someone and you are in awe and you respect them and you want to be in good graces with them. So that's the kind of love that God had for us when he created us. And that's what he expects from us. So I'm going to go ahead and build on that, what Ms. Devin said, be unapologetically you. What Shonda said, have grace with yourself. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself with caution, with fragility. I'm going to add that and say, be in awe of yourself. Like, chase after your self-love and your power such that you get to a point where you are literally in awe with who you are. So with that, I think that's a beautiful high note. We can go ahead and wrap it on up tonight. Sisters, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. I think I might have interjected my opinion a lot more than past episodes, but I'm excited about this one. I do.
This was your episode.
It was. I want to have another
usually
one.
just ask the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, no. I was like, I got something to say.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was good. It was good. I think women, because this is for the sisters, I really think women need to, one, understand the true definitions of these labels that we wear, and make sure that when we wear them, we know what we're wearing. Walk in that boldly. If you want to be a trophy, baby, you better be the best trophy wife you can be.
And have the richest husband.
And make sure you walking in it correctly and profoundly. You better have the richest, successfulest husband.
Okay.
Man, look, don't be walking around being no Trump. I ain't gonna go there. But yes, I definitely agree. Like, we really have to be mindful of the labels that we are putting on ourselves, because we are dimming our own light when we do that.
Yep.
So let me stop, because we said we was wrapping it up. I had a great time, and this one can keep going. We can keep going and going. But yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look back on this one.
Oh, unpacking will be great.
Unpacking is gonna be so awesome.
It is.
It's gonna be so awesome. I can't wait to hear, especially what Brother Rodney and Brother JB gonna have to say, because
they stay coming for I think they purposely come to give content. They know they be agreeing with us, but they got to be the devil's advocate sometimes.
Look, they always say, "Oh well, I agree," but
I have to agree, but let me say it from this point. Nah, just agree, period, not comma.
Okay, but I will say this. Sometimes the brothers, I think sometimes they get lost in their trolling, because in submissiveness, they kind of took over for a minute. I sat back and said, oh. Let the kings have they battle. Battle of the kings. Go ahead.
They're going to watch this, and they're going to slaughter us in unpacking. Y'all caught us meddling kings.
They better be careful. We spiritual powers over here.
Oh, spiritual warriors, you hear me?
We have the womb of God. Y'all better look. What was trying to say? I ain't never fought my own fight.
I ain't never fought my own battle, right?
You better know who's coming behind me when you want to raise up.
You better ask some of my exes.
Oh,
and on that note, we're gonna go.
On that note, we thank everyone for tuning in on tonight. Big round of applause. I'm going to get to Shonda and Miss Devin. I had a grand old time. I can't wait for unpacking. Everybody join so that you can have something to say. If you do not know about our unpacking episodes, look us up on Clubhouse, Blacked Out Couch. Also follow us on YouTube, on Spotify, on all of the podcast platforms. We do have unpacking episodes on there, so you can get a feel for what you are going to be in store of. Until then, be unapologetic in your healing. I hope you heal, and we'll catch you next time.